Today I'm going to be making tofu salmon, completely vegan. It's going to be delicious and easy. All right, first thing, I've got my tofu. I'm gonna clean the exterior. Don't want COVID on there. I mean, obviously I'm not eating the outside plastic, but when I use my knife, I don't want any bacteria transferring from my knife onto my food. So I'm just gonna cut here, drain some of the liquid out, and then cut more here because I want to remove this block of tofu in its entirety in just one complete block. So here, now I want to drain out this liquid completely. One is that if I don't drain all the liquid out, then it won't absorb the flavors that I want added to it, because tofu is really tasteless on its own. So you gotta have a marinade on there. So you could just take these paper towels and wrap a bunch of them, but it's not as good as using these. Very noisy. And then I'm just gonna make it tighter so it doesn't fall out. So you could see it's kind of smashing it. And then, so I don't want this coming out all over the place. I'm going to put it on here so I can catch the water and it'll drain. And then I'll just check it every 5 minutes and twist it so that more water will drain. Now you don't want to twist so much so that it breaks or that it becomes really dry. So I'll check this every few minutes, get rid of the water, and then we'll come back and we'll marinate it. All right, so I'm gonna drain the liquid from the tofu and remove it from the tofu press. I don't want it to be bone dry, but not getting, at least get a lot of that liquid out that does not taste so good. All right, so you can see it's not completely dry. Maybe I'll just dry it a little bit more because I really want it to absorb the marinade that I'm making. It's very simple. All right, that should be good. Soak up any water here. All right, so I'm going to make my little salmon slices. So I'm gonna make it divide by 3. Okay, so here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these diagonally to make it like salmon. See? And it's okay if it's not perfect. So I'll do that for each of them. So then I have, oh, that one was kind of messy. I'll have 6 of these. And 2 per person should be good. So I'm gonna make the marinade now. So I've got coconut aminos, which is like soy sauce, but less salt. And it's sweeter, it kind of has a wine vibe. I love it, it's delicious. A little bit of ginger, just not too much. Ginger's pretty strong. So that was very little. And the paprika is just for color, just to make it look more like salmon. Not too much because I don't want it to taste like paprika. I think I'm going to add a little bit more coconut aminos. All right, mix that together. I probably need to add more. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to do a few stabs just to make the sauce soak up a little bit more. I'm just going to do it on one side. All right, coat all the sides. right, so you could see that. I'm going to do that with each one. And then I'm going to just let it sit in the marinade until I'm ready to cook it. And then I will pour the marinade on top when I'm cooking it, just to let it soak a little bit more, because tofu by itself is very, very plain. And so you can see I didn't use a lot of seasoning, but look, it really, it marinated all of them. This will be a nice thick one. All right, so I'm gonna put it right back in here and let it sit and soak. The tofu's been marinated a while, so you could see most of the marinade has been absorbed. Yum. All right, just gonna get all that marinade onto the tofu on here, and you might notice that I have fewer slices because I was really hungry and I ate one, so I have 5 instead of 6, so they're good even cold, but better warm. All right, last one, and then I'm gonna put it in the oven, preheated at 350 degrees for 30 minutes, and you want to eat it hot. So we'll put that in the oven right now. This is the key ingredient to making your salmon taste like salmon instead of tofu. We don't want it that kind of fishiness flavor that salmon has. So I have nori here. These are nori sheets, and they're pretty big. You're not gonna need all that, so I'm just gonna break it in half. And you can cut it too, which will make it easier, because it probably won't break perfectly evenly. So we'll do this. All right. And you don't want to get this wet, otherwise it gets soggy, and then you don't want to put it back in the pack. All right, so I'm going to cut, and you don't have to be perfect about this, but I do want them a little bit shorter. I don't really want it sticking out. I think I'll make it a little bit shorter. And I'm going to cut this so I have one on each piece of my tofu salmon. So you can see here, I'm going to press that right in the middle of each part where it sticks. And then I'm going to flip them over and bake it, because I don't want it to burn in the oven. I've got 2 more, and I'm only going to put it on one side. So one side has ridges, that's the side I'm putting down. All right, so now I'm going to flip them over. And I'm going to bake it just like this. I'm not going to flip them again until it's time to eat. So I want to make a side dish with the salmon. You know, rice would go really nicely with it, but I don't eat rice because it has a lot of arsenic. Even if you cook it like pasta and drain it, it still has too much arsenic, and I don't have excessive amounts of arsenic. I don't want any, but that's a little unreasonable. Another option would be, these are very high calorie, but they're super delicious. So they're just rice noodles, so that's a quick and easy option. I'm gonna make more of the fancy gourmet option, but I'm gonna make it low carb. So I'm gonna use riced cauliflower. And so what this is, it's just cauliflower. They make it look like rice by shredding it. So I got this from Costco, and I'll show you, they come in these separate bags, which is really handy, so you don't have to shred the cauliflower and clean it yourself. Whoops, So they come like this. Isn't that neat? I'm all excited. So anyways, I just let this defrost on the counter and then I'm gonna cook it. I'm gonna show you how I saute vegetables without oil and retain all the flavor and none of the fat. So I'm gonna make a vegetable side dish. I want to eat vegetables at every meal, especially with the salmon. I mean, quinoa would be good with it, but it's just a little too much protein with, you know, tofu is really high in protein. So if you have tofu and quinoa, it's a little, can't have as much tofu. So anyway, so I'm going to dice the onion. I've got my pan heated and I am not using any oil. I have the onion diced. I've got the garlic. Whoops, and it drops on the floor. The pan is on medium-high heat. You'll notice there's nothing in it. It's completely dry. Did you hear that? So, sizzle. So, yes, it is sauteing. And you can do a dry saute like this. You just got to keep watching it. And obviously use a spatula, not a knife. So you can just watch it and just keep stirring it, but I like to use some sort of liquid. I usually use water, a 1/4 cup. You can use your favorite vegetable broth, or you can probably use a miso broth. Would be just amazing in this because this is an Asian dish. I am going to use some white wine, and I like to measure it because I don't want to boil it. I just want it to saute. So if you do too much, then it doesn't turn out quite right. So I do recommend that you get your measuring cup and 1/4 of a cup. Nice. All right, so you're going to just come back to this every minute or so until it becomes transparent, and then you'll have less liquid. And it's fine to use alcohol on this because we're cooking the alcohol out, so there won't be any alcohol, but it's going to smell just amazing and taste delicious. I'm going to add some shredded carrot. This is one carrot, medium, and it's going to add some really nice sweetness to the dish. And now I'm also going to add the cauliflower rice. It's not cooked, it's just defrosted. Add this here, and then I'm going to stir it. This will cook up really fast. Just incorporate the vegetables together, and then I'm going to chop up these frozen broccoli florets I got from Costco. I mean, this is so great. All I do is open it up, and then the thing is, these pieces are just a little bit too big to put in your mouth, so I'm gonna just cut up the big pieces in half and then put it back in, and then it will take about 8 to 10 minutes to cook, and that's pretty much done. And then I'm just gonna add about a 1/4 cup or so of peas, for, not that you need additional protein, but it has more protein in it, and peas are great. They have a wonderful sweetness. I like to put in peas at the very, very end, because if you cook them too long, they get too firm and the sweetness goes away. Vegetables, they should be done by now. No oil, and let's season them up a little bit. I'm just gonna put a little bit of rice vinegar, some mustard powder. I don't like the prepared mustard in the market because they all have sugar or preservatives or something I don't like. This is delicious. This is umbashi. It's a seasoning of sesame seeds and salt and nori. You could just do sesame seeds. And I'm gonna do a little splash, a coconut aminos just for some extra saltiness flavor. And you can also add, actually I definitely recommend pineapple slices. Pop them in here too. So last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add the peas, but let me mix this together and then we'll plate it. Try to incorporate all the flavors in there, so mix it well. All right, let's grab those peas and get those peas on there. So I'm assuming about a quarter cup. Yeah, about a quarter cup. Don't want to overdo it. And just mix and plate. And the salmon is ready. All right, I'm gonna put a bunch on here. I like to eat large portions. And I just eat 3 times a day, so I'm not eating all day long. Yeah, let's just fill it up. Yum. All right. Fill that plate. Let's get the salmon. Tofu salmon. So what's great about this, you don't have the saturated fat or all the problems that we have with salmon, like microplastics or mercury, other toxins. All right, so now when you plate it, get some tongs. And you want to plate it with this side. Yum. All right. The smaller ones usually have a little more flavor. I like to do about 2 per person. I'll do 2 small ones. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Sesame seeds. Drizzle some teriyaki sauce on top. Kitty says it must be salmon because she smells the nori, right? Not for kitties. Puma. All right, time to try it. Oh my gosh. So good. It totally tastes like salmon. Nori is the key. And I've got umbashi seasoning. And I use coconut. Secret Brand is the best for the teriyaki sauce and the coconut aminos. And you know, it just tastes better with your fingers. So I'll put the ingredients, the recipe in the notes below. And definitely add the pineapple. And the rice noodles are just amazing with this. So easy, delicious, 0 cholesterol, low calorie, healthy. Yum. I'm not sharing. Smells like salmon, huh? Want to smell broccoli?